Hello and welcome to another video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scout. My name is Joe and today I'm going to be revealing my plans for Game Week 29. I'll take a special look at Nottingham Forest players this time around. Is this week a great week to bring them in? I think so. I'll also look back on my Game Week 28 and give an insight into my chip plans, which are very, very dependent on FA Cup games. Just a reminder before we go on, do press that like button. It really helps us out. And do remember to subscribe to keep up to date with our latest videos and podcasts. Okay, let's have a look, see how I got on last week. Okay, so I got 54 points, slightly above average. Game week rank of 5.8 million, so there's 11 million players, so not the greatest of game weeks, but I went down from 71k to 86k, so not a great deal of not a real problem there. I bet I definitely had worse. I was carried really by Salah's captaincy and Henderson's 10 points. So I'm very pleased I got him in. So yeah, Henderson 10 points, Robinson 0, annoyingly. Gabriel 2, Alexander-Arnold 2, that was a surprise. Palmer 1, that was a surprise, especially after missing a penalty. Salah 30, great. There's blanks all round really, apart from Henderson and Salah. Bowen blank, Brian and Bomo blank. Dango blank, he is now a problem because Ivan Nilsson is back and clearly the better striker. Isak blank, Chris Wood blank, and even on my bench, those that follow my videos will know that I get lots of bench points. Not this time around though. Areola got me 3 points, so glad I benched him. Obviously, Mikolenko 2 points, Howson nothing, and Cunha obviously is still suspended and still sitting there on my bench, doing nothing there. So probably a game week to sort of sketch over really as we look ahead to game week 29. So as you can see with this, I'm okay actually. I've got Alexander-Arnold, Salah and Isak and Cunha as four that definitely aren't playing. I've also got Dango, who's very likely to be an impact sub. So looking at all of those players, I've got 2 free transfers, so I'll look at see what I'm going to be doing a bit later in this video. But it proves that I'm not going to free hit. I'm not in a position to free hit. I've got 2 free transfers. I've only got 2 players to remove before I can field a pretty credible 11. And I think I'm lacking a captaincy at the moment. I think Chris Wood's a pretty sound captain in Ipswich, but I think I'd prefer someone else. I think Kluivert is on my mind. Bruno Fernandes as well, I think is a good shout as well. I'm not that interested in Haaland. It's just the price tag. You can get like almost 3 Kluiverts for Haaland. I did a video with FPL General earlier in this week. This calendar year, Kluivert's got 70 points. Haaland's got 54. And when you factor in that not only is he getting worse amounts of points, but he's got 3. You can get 3 Kluiverts into Haaland there. So it's like just for that price, not so keen. Having said that, obviously he could do well against my side, Brighton, but I think there's better players, especially better value players. Okay, I said I would look at Nottingham Forest players. So I've got Chris Wood. I have not had a Nottingham Forest defender all season. And they're great. Their defence is great. And midfield, they're great as well. Alanga's great. Hudson-Odoi great. Morgan Gibbs-White are great. They've got so many options. It's no wonder free hitters will be tripling up. Could be going for a double defence. Could just go for Alanga, Chris Wood, something like that. Let's have a look at the options. So what I've done is I've got the best Nottingham Forest players in 2025, the calendar year, that is. So since Game Week 20, I think it is, since the beginning of January. And I've sorted it by minutes per expected goal involvement and got a whole bunch of stats here. Chris Wood is top, 66 points he's got in FPL, 7.3. He's in half of teams. He's about 80% owned where I am in the ranking, 70-80% owned. I expect him to be about 120% owned because he'll be in every free hit team. But I think he'll be, those that haven't got him will want to get him in as well, especially if you've got, say, Cunha, for example. Why not? He's got 2 assists, 7 goals, 9 attacking returns in 2025. Baseline bonus is strong, so he usually gets 9 points if he gets a goal. He's got 13 shots inside the box, 10 on target as well. So he is in the shots inside the box and on target guy. Starting every match as well. Plays Ipswich. All of them, obviously, they all play Ipswich. Alanga's next in terms of minutes per expected goal involvement. He's got 5 assists, and 8 shots inside the box, 4 on target. Baseline bonus is strong as well. Got 40 FPL points, only 5.3. I think he would be a must on a free hit. I think I prefer him marginally to Gibbs White and Hudson-Odoi. I'll mention them in a sec. But I think Alanga would be the one I get. Certainly seems the most exciting passing in the eye test as well. For me personally, I look at the players I haven't got. Cliver is the player, the midfielder I haven't got, that I think is not only the most dangerous in terms of effective ownership, but the most dangerous in terms of he's going to score lots of points. And he's a captaincy contender. And I don't know if Alanga is. But nevertheless, Alanga's a very strong option. Gibbs White, 6.5. Created 12 chances. Oh, Alanga's created 21 chances, by the way. Left off his best stat. I mean, absolutely huge. That's pretty much double anyone else on here. So he's definitely a guy to get in. Gibbs White, I think, is a notch down then. He has got 8 attacking returns, 6 assists and two goals. But he costs a bit more and his chance creation isn't as good. It's his minutes expected goal involvement isn't as good. But nevertheless, he has got 11 shots inside the box. But only 3 of those on target. So he's more an assist guy, but it's definitely Alanga's that. Hudson-Odoi, 5.2. Got 4 attacking returns, 3 goals and an assist. Minutes per expected goal involvement is a bit of a gap. He's every 349 minutes, so he's not expected to get goal involvement every match, certainly. But yeah, 3 shots on target, 11 shots inside the box. He's strong stats, but I think for me, so far, if you're going for 2 attackers, be Chris Wood and Alanga, I think I would go for. Anderson, is worth mentioning. I don't think he can compete though. 5 million, 26 FPL points in 2025. Hudson-Odoi's got 36. Gibbs White's got 50. Alanga's got 40. So he can't really compete there. Nico Williams in defence. We've got a whole bunch of defenders now who also, figure for expected goal involvement. So they can get attacking returns, but it's also the clean sheet odds as well. They're obviously very strong for baseline bonus. Nico Williams is very, very low owned. But if you add up all of their ownership and you add up those that are going to go in a free hit and those like me who are targeting Nottingham Forest defenders, which is a bit of a spoiler for what move I'm probably going to make, they're going to be well over 100% owned. So if you have a Nottingham Forest defender, one, which is probably what I'll have, what you're doing there is mitigating. They're a shield, the old swords and shields. You are putting up a shield. You'll probably still get a little red arrow for Nottingham Forest defenders if they can keep a clean sheet, even if you've got one, because they're going to be over 100% owned, I think. Might not be, but I think they will. And you could factor Sells in as well. He's in the 5th teams already. Aina's in 3 in 10 teams. So that's what I think. That's what I would definitely go for with Nottingham Forest defenders. If on a free hit, I would probably double up because you're turning that shield into a sword then. So Nico Williams, I think, is very strong, especially if you haven't got much to spend. He's 4.4. He has got a goal already. He's got 5 shots inside the box, which is quite strong for a defender. Milenkovic is probably the one I favour. He's 4.8, costs a tiny bit more. Very similar sort of minutes per expected goal involvement. He has got a goal already, as Nico Williams has got. I just think he's got 6 shots inside the box. I just feel, I don't know, just the eye test, he seems to be the guy that's getting in more positions. So I think he'll be the one I possibly get there. Murillo's a sort of also ran no attacking returns. In just 1 shot inside the box this calendar year. That's not a lot at all. So Milenkovic 6 shots inside the box this calendar year. Williams 5, very strong. Aina is in most teams. He is the top rated. So if you look at the FPL website, you'll see his top of Nottingham Forest defenders. So that's why his ownership's so good to get him in. And that's why he keeps going up in price. He's 5.3 now. But his minutes per expected goal involvement is not as strong. He's only got that 1 assist. He's top for bonus points that have been handed out, but his baseline bonus is not as strong as, say, Murillo's, for example, is on a par with Williams. He's not getting the shots inside the box. He's more the chance creation guy. So he's got 4 chances created there, whereas the rest of them got 1 or 2. I think these say to me that if I'm going to get the off chance of an attacking return, Milenkovic is probably the one I would go for. But I think Williams is very strong as well. One of those two, I think. So Aina is a reasonable option, but I don't know if you can justify that 0.5 extra. But if you're free hitting, you've probably got the money. Sells is next. Obviously, his minutes per expected goal involvement don't really count. It's goalkeeper. But nevertheless, his baseline bonus is strong. He's starting every match, and they've got a strong clean sheet potential as well. I do team reveal video with Tom Freeman every week, the Fantasy Football Scouts deputy editor. He's had Sells for months and months and months, and every week he will always get 6 to 8 points more than me in that particular position because he's got Sells. Very strong assets. Those that have already targeted Nottingham Forest defence, well done. It's game week. What are we coming up to? Game week 29. About time, basically. So I don't mind doing that. Okay, let's have a look and see how they figure in my plans as well. So, yeah, this is my team as it stands at the moment. Obviously, it's going to change. I've got 2 free transfers. I've got 0.6 million in the bank. My possible moves are Alexander Arnold out for Milenkovic, or Nottingham Forest defence, another one, but definitely a Nottingham Forest defence I feel is needed this week, and Dango out for Kluivert, who I would then captain. I think I could see goals in that Bournemouth-Brentford game. It was 5 goals in the last one. It was 3-2 to Brentford. So I can definitely see goals there. Kluivert is very, very much involved and on penalties, and he's taking set pieces. So it's very strong. And that would leave me with Salah, Isak and Cunha on the bench. Now, a lot of people would look at this and think, why aren't I just switching Cunha for a defender, for a striker? Visser, Evan Nilsson. Well, because I'm not massively keen. I think I could possibly get as many points from a Nottingham Forest defender from one of those strikers who are not a guaranteed bonus. Might get me a goal, but they might get 6 points. But I can get that from a cheaper Nottingham Forest defender. So it would mean that I would field 5-4-1 with Chris Wood as my only striker. Because in game week 30, I will either keep Cunha benched because I'm always getting bench points, so I might as well. I'm looking to wildcard in game week. Well, I'll talk about my wildcard plans shortly after that, game week 31 or 32. So if I wanted to get, because there's quite a few games, there's international break as well. So I'm looking at this and thinking, Mateta. In game week 30, Mateta is away to Southampton and then at home to Brighton. These are great fixtures for Palace. It's a derby, the Brighton game. That's why I don't think it's a tough fixture for their attackers against them from either side. So I like the thought of Mateta. So I might get Mateta in and then maybe bench Brian Mbomo away to Newcastle or play him. But he would be quite a good sub there. So I think I prefer that. But of course, Mateta doesn't play in game week 29. So yeah, here's my team. With that, I'll read it out just for the podcast version. I'll read out my team and then I'll read out what it could be, what it's likely to be. So Areola in goal. I've got Robinson, home to Tottenham. Gabriel, home to Chelsea. Howson, home to Brentford. All the home players. Milenkovic, home to West Ham. And I'm probably going to add in, I'm going to get rid of Alexander Arnold. I think his price is quite high for what he is, and I don't think Liverpool are necessary except for Salah. So I think I'll just end up having Salah because they're not doubling Liverpool. And of course, they're out of the Champions League now, so they're going to really concentrate on the league. So there, I would have 5 at the back there. Across midfield, I think Palmer's going to stay just by default. Bowen away to Everton. Brian Mbomo away to Bournemouth. And then Dango I'm going to change to Kluivert. That's my second of the free transfers. So I'll have Kluivert there and I'll probably captain him. Up front, Chris Wood. So 5-4-1. And on my bench will be Salah, Isak and Cunha. I want to keep Salah. I want to keep Isak. Other people might look at this and think, hey, why don't you get rid of Palmer? And I have considered that, Palmer to Bruno Fernandes. But if I move Palmer to Bruno Fernandes, I've still left with Dango being an issue. Because one of Cunha, Alexander-Arnold, Isak or Salah has to go in order to field 11. And so you would think maybe you could get, say, Cunha to Haaland and then Palmer, but that doesn't quite work out. I need to get a bit more money from elsewhere, so then it becomes a hit. And I think Kluivert is the player that I haven't got that I really desperately want. So yeah, that's the move I'm quite keen on there. Let's have a look at my plans and the fixtures. So usually I put the sort of notes at the top, but because it's getting a bit complicated, I've started to put notes on my phone. So I've just sort of copy and paste. I've just took a screenshot of that note there because it's getting a bit complicated. I can't put that all up in the notes on top of the fixtures. So the fixtures show the key things I've got to watch out for. Game week 29, obviously the blank. Game week 30, I don't want to ignore that. I'm not going to I've no plans to wildcard them, but I don't want to ignore it. Bournemouth at home to Ipswich, great. Man City at home to Leicester, that's the one that's going to be a tricky one for me. And Crystal Palace away to Southampton. So I'm going to want a little bit more of something there. Not necessarily Man City, maybe Mateta. So I've got to be aware of those things there. Game week 31, I could wildcard. But I've also need to be aware some more things there with Southampton. Say, for example, Tottenham play Southampton that week. And who plays Leicester? Newcastle. Game week 32, Newcastle and Crystal Palace double. But Newcastle's one is much better for defenders as well as attackers. Manchester United at home, Crystal Palace at home. 2 home games, brilliant. But Crystal Palace, I like Mateta, but Man City away, Newcastle away, I think I can see them scoring, but I don't know whether they're going to score a lot, and I don't think they're going to keep any clean sheets there. So I don't think Munoz, etc., Henderson are actually necessary there. But if they double in game week 33, they are handy to get in. I probably would triple up on Crystal Palace then, because I'd want them again for game week 33, which is when I want to bench boost. So we don't know who exactly is going to be doubling in game week 33. And obviously, whoever doubles in game week 33 are very likely to blank in game week 34. So we need to be aware of that. So I have 2 plans, all dependent on the Palace-Fulham FA Cup game. If Palace lose that, that means they won't double in 33. They will in 32, we know that, but they won't in 33. So I would be looking to wildcard in 31. With a view to using my bench boost action in 32. So I would really load up on Newcastle and Palace players as well. But I also keep an eye on things like Aston Villa against Southampton. So hopefully they will double in 33. So I'll be looking to sort of, I'll be looking to build up players. Maybe Aston Villa away to Southampton could be a tricky one. But I'll be looking to sort of those sorts of fixtures really. And obviously Salah will stay. I have to be aware that Saka could be back as well. So I'll be looking at bench boosting with single game week players in the team. Obviously, because there's only a couple of fixtures, but trying to maximise that. And then using and then with game week wildcard in 31, bench boost in 32, and then free hitting in 33. So I don't have to worry about bench boost then. Obviously, hopefully, I'm set up in terms of my wildcard for 31 to carry me through to game week 34 when there's going to be blanks. I hope this makes sense. It sort of does to me. And then I would free hit in 33, and then I'm set up for 34 already, in theory. But I have to be careful with that, and it's hard to judge depending on the teams there. If Palace win, however, which I sort of hope they do because this is easier, a wildcard in 32. I've used my triple captaincy, by the way, already. So and assistant manager chips, so I don't have to worry about them. A wildcard in 32, nice and simple. Have some Newcastle and Palace coverage in that. Bench boost in 33. So I'm basically essentially wildcarding for 33. But that means that the transfers, I would have to remove some players in 33 who are doubling in 32. And then I would free hit in 34. So that's the nice and easy one. Wildcard 32 with a view to bench boosting 33. And obviously remembering the Newcastle and Palace double in 32. And then free hitting 34. I prefer that, but it all depends on Palace, really. They're absolutely pivotal. But I think if Palace lose, I think it might become a bit tricky in order to... I mean, I guess I could steal wildcards then, but there's just more players to remove because, of course, Palace would double if they win 33, so that's fine. I can keep them, but it's too many players from Palace and Newcastle that I'd have to remove if they lose and they aren't doubling in 33. It's complicated. I'd probably just confuse myself here, but hopefully that's made that's put in perspective just how pivotal these FA Cup games and how much we don't know at the moment. But it's good to have a plan. The overriding thing about this for Game Week 29 though is that whatever one of these scenarios there, whether I use my free hit in 33 or 34, I think that free hit is really useful, really handy, because it's going to help me navigate this run. So if I use it in 29, it's going to make navigating this run very difficult. Possible, but very difficult. Also, when you look at my team there, I can get, with 2 free transfers, a credible 11 out, and I don't think I'm spectacularly lacking. Free hitters will have a lot more Man City. I think they're good for Leicester, Game Week 30. I don't think they're that great for Brighton. Could do well, though. And apart from that, I don't think there's a tremendous amount I'm lacking, really, there. So that would be on a free hit team. I mean, I guess maybe some Fulham, a Wobie maybe, but I mean, they're not necessary players there. So anyway, I hope that's been a help. There's a lot of decisions to be made. I've sort of formulated some decisions for Game Week 29 already to sort of make it a bit easier as well. So whatever you decide, good luck with your Game Week, good luck with your Game Week 29 plans, and good luck planning those fixtures, especially after the FA Cup games, which we'll know much more. Thanks a lot. Take care. See you soon.